Hey everybody, and welcome to video 3. In this video we will be learning about the select statement and how to comment our code. Now select from and where that block is the foundation of SQL. So there's a lot to cover in the where statement. Therefore, we're just going to look at select and from today and how to comment our code. So thank you for watching and I hope you enjoy. Alrighty, so the first thing we want to do is in the description you will see a download for tblPerson with data. Go ahead and download that file. Once you've downloaded it, click on the open file button, locate that file, and you can double click on it or hit open. Once it's on the screen, we're going to run this because it's going to delete our person table, create the person table, and then insert all of the randomly generated data I've provided for this series. This is the same file as the last video, but we're just doing it just to make sure that we are on the same page. So once I hit execute, I'm ready to begin. So I want to talk about select statements and comments. So first, let's get a select statement on the screen. And we could do that by right-clicking on tblPerson in our Object Explorer, going to script table as, select to new query window. Now once I click on this, we should get this screen. Now I want to delete some of this code because not all of it is important to what we are doing. So on line 12, let's go ahead and delete go, and lines 1 and 2, let's delete use, learn SQL, and go. So this is what we have. If I hit execute, I will get all of the data back from my person table. So before we begin dissecting this select statement, I want to teach you guys about comments in code. If I wanted to type some words anywhere in this query window and hit execute, SQL is going to try and do something based on what I'm telling it to do. So SQL has no idea what I'm doing here. Some of the words are different colors, and some of them are highlighted. Like SQL has no clue. So to tell SQL to ignore some sort of text, we can do a comment, which is 2 hyphens or 2 minus signs, followed by the text that we want SQL to ignore. And we can do that anywhere we'd like, but it is always to the right. So if we start before a column, this column will no longer be returned. So I'm going to go ahead and execute that just to show you. SQL ignores this, runs our select statement, does ignore this, and ignores the skin tone. So we don't get that column back. If I delete this comment and hit execute, it will show back up. So let's go ahead and rip apart the select statement. So for the most part, we can write a sentence and convert that into code. A lot of people call it pseudocode, but we can take similar patterns in our own writing to understand SQL and how it works. For instance, if I'm going to create a comment, and if I were to write the sentence, I am going to the store to get apples, peaches, bananas, Oxford comma, and pears. I can take this series sentence or this list inside of a sentence and relate it to how we are selecting columns. So I have a comma delimited list, an item, comma, item, comma, item, comma, and then I have a conjunction. So we don't need in SQL this and or in the lists that we're asking for. So if I copy this sentence again and paste it, I will just remove the and. So this list is very similar to this list. We have an item, comma, another item, comma, another item, etc. If I wanted to remove the first item in the list, apples, and I remove person ID, This sentence doesn't look right. Get comma peaches, what? And if we go down here, you could see that there is SQL is underlining the first comma with a red line, saying that this is also incorrect. So if we remove that comma, SQL will execute this, and we will execute it, and you will see that person ID will go away. So the other thing is the order of columns and how we construct this select statement. SQL is very forgiving on format. We can highlight hair color and we can drag it over here. We can highlight skin type and we'll drag it over here. You know, this doesn't look formatted very well, but we have an order of person, first name, hair color, last name, eye color, skin type, skin tone. And and a couple of spaces, and if I execute this, SQL doesn't care, and we get that new order. So converting this sentence, I'm going to the store to get apples, peaches, bananas, and pears. Very easy. Select, comma, delimited list. So we're telling SQL, hey, give me these things. And the next thing we have to do is tell SQL from where. SQL is going to be like, where do I get these from? So we say, hey, from this table, which is the only table we have right now. So when we are moving through the series, remembering these columns, going to our Object Explorer, expanding the columns folder, and trying to figure out what these columns are named, it becomes a very tedious process. It's a waste of time. So there is a shortcut, and I'm going to delete all of these columns in my statement and format this a little bit. Clean code, like it. All right. So I have the select, hey SQL, get ready to give me data from this table. Get me data from this table. We can use an asterisk or a star or Shift 8. This is a wildcard, and this tells SQL, just give me all the columns back. And if we run it, you will see that the hair color is no longer next to person first name, and our person ID will reappear. So let's hit execute. We have all of our columns back in the order they were specified in this list in the table creation. So this is not something you want to do at your work in production code, but this is something that you will be doing all the time as you're trying to answer a question or solve a puzzle, because it's way easier to not be required to remember these columns and just, get them from this list. And I'll show you some shortcuts later. But that is all I wanted to cover today. We learned how to comment and how to basically tell SQL to give me some data or all of the data from this particular table. So if you have any questions or comments, do leave a comment. If you need any help, especially, please like and subscribe. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about the where clause. So I will see you then. Have a good one.